morning and welcome to my testimony show, a show that brings you stories of they that have been through it, they that have lived the pain and have overcome. We are at 4 Points by Sheraton, and today I am joined by two wonderful, amazing people who are just so full of laughter and positive vibes, Ciku and DJ Soxxy.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. Yeah, so I have talked about the names. I have introduced you by names. Tell us more.
So my name is Waichigo Kamau, married to DJ Soxxy now for 10 years, a mother of 2, and by profession I'm a marketer. I love marketing. Ukinieka hapo sasa tunaongea.
Yeah. Wow.
And so my name is Jackson Kamau, aka Soxxy, and I wear many hats. I am a father, I'm a husband, I am a producer, TV, radio, broadcaster, an MC. I am an events person, and above all, I think my mission in life is to be an agent of positive and godly change in my society. And so what I say is I bring positiveness and I bring godly change in wherever I go. And yeah, in a nutshell, that's it. That's who I am.
Hashtag positive vibes
Hashtag
only.
positive vibes only. Hashtag Mungu mbele. Yeah. Hashtag usiniite mkonda.
You are also full of positive vibes.
Yes.
How has that worked for the 10 years?
It's been up and down. It hasn't been a straight line, definitely. But I think just putting that humor, that laughter has made it a bit easier for us for the 10 years. Yeah. So at times we look back, na hiyo mwaka, wow, tucheke, we make fun out of it. Na maisha inaendelea. Yeah.
There are also bad days, not really every day that we laugh, but all in all, it's how you come out of it, how you come out of the season. There are always positives, not everything is negative, but knowing that tomorrow will be a better day, hoping that tomorrow will be a better day. You know, that in the midst of everything that might be going wrong at that point, just looking ahead and saying, you know, kesho pia ni siku, and tomorrow we'll have a better one.
And how do you deal with those bad days?
Tunapambananga, saa ingine tunapambana, yeah. But basically, during bad days, when you're having bad days, you know, first we acknowledge, and this we have learned over the years. The first days in marriage, tulikuwa tunalimana sana. Kulimana is basically just, you know, what you say, how you say it, how you deal with the conflict that you're going through. But over years, you realize that in the heat of the moment, the things that you say or the things that you do, you can never take them back, you know. So knowing that even as we fight this battle, that we are still in the same team, we are still one. So you don't want to lose and cause a scar to your team member, and that will, you know, make them not move on well. And so even as you deal with this, even as you deal with the conflict, we are still part of the same team. Na kesho tutaangaliana tu, na tutanid kupendana. So how we deal with this, you know, we need to deal with it amicably so that it's a win-win. Yeah.
He talked about a team. How do you make marriage a team?
Hey, it's not easy because half the time utakuwa unamwona huyu mtu huyu. I think it's just consciously remembering that we are one family. I think especially when the children come in, there is no way I can be on this team and he's on that team. Even hata tukiwa parent, lazima tuongee sauti moja. Tukisema mtoki nje ni sisi wote wawili. I think it's just remembering he has my back, I have his back. Yeah, all the time.
Like I think knowing that, you know, looking back and seeing the things that God has brought us through, the seasons that God has brought us through, the victories that God has given us over the years together, you know, it also just brings us together. Yeah.
You talked about children. There is where
the biggest hurdle that was. Yeah, so in 2009 I was diagnosed with a condition called PCOS. So PCOS basically just stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. Many women are going through it, but unfortunately we don't talk about it because society or watu wataniona aje, because the main the worst symptom of PCOS is you tend to be infertile. but it's not for the long haul. So I tend to believe it's not for the long haul. At some point utapata mtoto. It's just maybe it will take a long time for you to get a child. So when I was diagnosed, we were dating, and the guy now who diagnosed me the condition told me I was 27 and I did not have a child. Akaniambia hii ndio time. Kama uko na msee, we mharakishe, umwambie ni saa hii. Because this thing, people never get children. And I remember now going back to him and telling him, hey, msee, jipange. Me, I don't care about church, God, Jesus, right now. Daktari amesema. Sasa tuongei maneno ya Mungu. Daktari amesema, so me, I need a child. And I remember him telling me, hii story hayezi. And we broke up for two months, actually. It was 2 months. We broke up.
2 months, 1 week, and 4 days, and 3 hours.
So we broke up. And then now later, of course, tukarudiana, and we started now the journey of learning and understanding that I have this condition that I may never be able to give him children. So yeah, 2 years later we got married, and mimi nilikuwa najua my clock has been ticking from 2 years ago. So sahi ni masaa ya kupata watoto. So I remember telling Soxxy, hapa hakuna kungoja, hapa hakuna honeymoon, hapa ni kuingia job tupate mtoto. And Soxxy was looking at me those ones of me, I've gotten a wife, nimekuwa nikingoja, hapa tunachapa 2 years, alafu now we bring other people. So I pressurized him, akaingia box.
Usiseme ni kama you pressurized him, you're being nice.
I was being nice.
Yeah,
really?
You pressurized him, I pressurized him. Pressure yani dome, it's our first years in marriage, but dome was pegged on, wewe umekataa tupate watoto, And so it's not just kidogo pressure, it was high pressure. It was high intensity pressure of getting a baby. And I used to tell her, yes, the doctor said, but eventually ni Mungu peana watoto. Si daktari, si mimi, we can try all that we can. But eventually it's just God who gives children. But out of the pressure, the pressurization that I received, nikaona enyewe hizi dome sasa zimekuwa mingi sana. So I just decided, si basi tupate mtoto tu. Yeah, so I gave in. I said, okay, let's
contraception and start.
So, wow, wait, you're told that you cannot have a child and you still...
Sio ndio sasa drama, si ndio sasa naleta pressure.
Hapo ndio dome.
Kwa sasa yeye hataki mtoto. So okay, hataki mtoto saa hiyo.
Alafu now back then, turudi nyuma kidogo before to marry, we had broken up because nilikuwa nimekataa kumpe mtoto. So na yeye anaona, time is going. The doctor said, and now kwanza you refused. But anyway, nimekuonea huruma, nimekurudia tu. Unaona kwani nilikuwa nimekuacha, lakini nimekuonea huruma tu, nimekurudia tu. Sasa sababu wewe ni mtu mzuri. Now we are married. Kumbuka ile huruma nilikuonea, otherwise hatungekuwa tumekuwa married sahi. But now we need to have a child. This is like 2 years after. So, alafu now for you ladies, there is a clock that you assume.
Because 30 was here, as in I got married when I was 29. So ndio 30 naona inafika. Na huyu ananiambia 2 years. So 31 ndio tunaanza kujaribu.
27, how did that make you feel? How did that report make you feel?
Umeshaisikia kale kajasho jembamba ako. That's what came out. And then it made me feel like a woman is to give birth. As in, if you don't give birth as a woman, you're not a woman. It made me feel like kwa hii dunia niliekwa tu nipate watoto. Yeah, even the way that guy na talked to me, it's like kwanza uko 27 hujaipata mtoto. I'm thinking, kwani kuna mali tulikuwa tumeandikiwa?
That's how the society puts it.
Yeah.
How different should it be, Soxxy?
You don't get married because of children. That's what I say. You get married because you love each other. Children come as a result of the love that you guys share, And so it's not necessarily that tunaoana ndio tupate watoto. Because if that's the case, unaweza pata mtoto before bila kuoana, But I think you get married, your agenda should be greater than just having kids, Because this is someone that you live the rest of your life with. So if the agenda is just having kids, so after watoto wamekuja, so what next? So nakumbuka nikimwambia mara mob, I can live for the rest of my life with you without children. Children are not, unajua, should not be the case as to why we should get married or not. But you see, for me, nasema hivyo kumu-encourage. But how she perceives it is, yani unasema, I can live for the rest of my life without children.
I was not hearing that side. This is the time I hear that side. Yeah, and it's because also, now after the whole thing, I started a foundation, PCOS Foundation, and I'm dealing with women who, the men are leaving or bringing in another woman because they cannot get pregnant. So now when I hear him saying it now, I'm like, wow, that should have meant a lot to me then, but I did not hear it. Yeah.
So how has been the growth to understanding that we are not getting married to have kids, to, yes, the kids are here now.
Wow, and the kids are here, and now, sasa ni marriage plus parenting. It's very different. And also for me now, I look at it, ile siku nilikuwa nataka watoto sana, I was not even considering the marriage. It's like the marriage, I remember at some point hata alikuwa akiniambia he used to feel like a sperm donor. Because all I wanted is, mi nataka kupata mtoto, ni masaa ya kupata mtoto, we go try for a baby. So now later is when you realize, wow, I need to work on my marriage, and now I'm a mother, and I need to work on the parenting angle of it. Yeah, it's a balancing act now. Yeah.
So see how the pressure, how did it affect you psychologically, your faith?
Hey, okay. So for my faith,
imagine his was never...
My faith was never shaken. Actually, my faith became stronger because when we were going through that season of looking for a child, you know, we got to a place where even the doctor akatuambia, you know what, me, I've done the best that I can in terms of medically, I've done everything humanly possible for you guys to conceive. You have not conceived, so I only have like 2 options, which is surgery, you know, and not 100% also, or IVF, which is again not 100%. So daktari amefika mwisho. And during that season, yeye aliacha kwenda church, you know, aliacha kwenda vitu za Mungu aliacha. Because you see, you ask yourself when, and it's very interesting. So the people that we got married in the same season started having children.
Even number 2.
Number 2. Hapo ndio time stories zile zote unasikia ni za mtu alipata mtoto, aliget baby shower, you know.
You used to go to those?
Now at some point I stopped because it was too much for me to bear. Because sasa naenda, kwanza ya first nitaenda ndio celebration, amepata ball, anapata mtoto. The second one I'm like, no God, now you're being funny. As in nimengoja, umetembelea kila mtu, sasa mimi umeniacha. The worst was, there's a lady, a friend of mine, who got even a 3rd born, and oops. And she was feeling bad that she's gotten pregnant with an oops 3rd born. And I'm just like, Aki, God, you're so funny. You're very funny. Na anakuja kuniambia mimi, as in this lady is coming and tell me vile anasikia vibaya that amepata ball ya 3rd born. I'm like, hey.
Na sisi hata wa kwanza tunaombea huyo wa kwanza. I remember actually at some point she used to pray and say, God, hata allow me to conceive hata akufe. As in, you know, ni miscarry. Yeah.
It was bad.
Just allow me to conceive, I miscarry.
I just wanted to know my womb can hold something. Yeah. But sasa ukiangalia saa hii tena na hiyo miscarriage, you know, it's just things you wish and think of in such hard times, na ujui ni nini unafikiria. Yeah.
Someone comes and tells you, I have an oops baby and I'm feeling bad.
Huyo iliniuma for sure. Iliniuma sana.
So how insensitive?
And not only did she get pregnant, she even got the child, and she'd come to my place with that 3rd born. Nimwangalilie. It was not easy. But now I don't blame her, because that's what is going on in her life. And that's even, this is what I usually tell women who are dealing with their friends who are not getting children. Don't buy your life from this lady who's not conceiving. Yes, it was feeling bad for me, but it's cause siangali in a positive way. Siangali Mungu amembariki. Mimi naiangalia mimi sipati. You should continue with your life, engage her, be in her life, bring your children over. Musim, because now if I tell them not to talk to me and tell me what they are going through, urafiki pia itaisha. So let life continue. Let me maneuver through my sadness and my
Na pia I think your season we had not told anyone what we are going through.
Yeah.
So watu wako wanajua what we are going through, so wanakam celebrate na sisi ni kama hey, it's a good thing, you know. Friends, I know you're talking about being insensitive. Mtu anakama na mmetuweka nyinyi.
Hiyo sasa that's being insensitive.
Mnararua tu mashit, nyinyi ni mashit tu mnararua tu na hakuna kitu. You know, jokes. It's actually a joke that we say, but it's very insensitive because I know of instances where we went to functions, mtu ana make joke kama hiyo, najua tu our day is over. Siku yetu imeisha, hata ili turudi tu home because imemwaribia tu siku. So we'd rather just go home.
Such come a lot. 2 years, workload total.
Mumetuweka.
From family, from friends. You know, how did that affect you?
It was bad. As he's saying, tutaenda mahali mtu aseme kitu kama hiyo, mi sasa nataka kwenda home. Because you see, it's not my doing. If it was up to me, hata naweza kuwa na watoto watatu pap. But it was not my doing. We are waiting for God to give us a child. So what I usually tell people, please don't ask those questions because you do not know the burden this couple is carrying. Haujui nini inaendelea. Kwanza kama hawajawaambia, don't make such jokes. Yeah.
Na pia as a pot, akikuwa na pot pia usikuje umwambie congratulations. Na ni pot body na labda ni nini.
Hata si body, zingine zikwangi body shame ndo. Zinakuanga unaona labda ni ball, labda ni usiseme by the way. Paka huyo mtu akwambie usiseme.
Labda ni madawa zina react ako bloated alafu congrats, unashinda congrats for what?
Because people with endometriosis, they go through that a lot. Because they get, they wanna bloat. Hata sisi, at times there's a medication or your period hasn't showed up, so your tummy tends to look a bit bigger. Alafu mtu amekwambia congratulations. Sasa hizo wewe unajua hata sijaona period yangu in 3 months. So yeah.
And what is that one day you sat down to have a conversation about having a child and it was heated?
Hey, we've had many. We've had many. Kuna siku hata tumekosana tukaenda mpaka kwa our best couple. Saba usiku, I think ilikuwa 1 AM. By the way, it was very bad. It was we laugh about it now, but it was hiyo tungeuana hapo. Tungeuana kwa hiyo nyumba. Tungemalizana by the way. So we decided hii nyumba tulali. Hebu twende tu.
Tengo na kuku na curfew hizo siku.
Tukaenda kwa it wasn't 2. It was earlier. So tukaenda kwa best couple wetu akatuambia actually you've come a good time because I'm taking my shosho
walikuwa narudi
to the airport. So acha tupeleke shosho airport alafu turudi. So wakatuacha na mtoto wao tuangalie mtoto.
Sasa tumekasirikiana.
Sisi tumekasirikiana hapo.
Tulienda
sisi wote wawili. Tukaenda tukangoja mpaka wakaenda airport wakapeleka mtu wakarudi home. Now that was about 3 AM. We talked the things that we were going through because she felt that I never used to understand her and what she's going through. Na mimi hapo na feel ni kama mimi nafanyisho tu kazi tu. Ni kazi ya maspam don. Hivyo anasema tu ilikuwa kazi nini. Anyway, I never used to feel loved. I never used to feel like she does not understand. She does not appreciate the support that nampatia. And so domains zinge come out of anything. Yeah, so we've had many of those sessions.
Had
many fights.
Even fights for my periods have come and I'm waiting to, I'm hoping this is the cycle that I get pregnant. Period imekuja. Ananipata nimejam, of course anashinda, so unajamu. So unajamu.
Na hiyo wiki inaharibika hivyo ama hiyo month yani yeah. So I got used to it.
When did you come to that understanding of this is my side, this is my side?
So from the very beginning, I knew Soxxy's side. It's just that I never wanted to accept it and internalize it to say, bwana yangu ananiambia nini. Because from the very beginning, he would tell me, I did not marry you for children. Whether children come or not, we are doing marriage together, as in siendi mahali. I never used to hear that. So he had always given me his side. So I think he was even waiting for me, Udema, relax, as in, we just live life. So I remember it's one day I came from work and I just sat down. I think I'd thought about it for a very long time. So nikakaa chini nikaambia mimi decide after 2 years tunaweza adopt. So of course hata yakaniangalia sasa adoption mtoto imetoka wapi? So mimi nikaambia sawa tuache kutafutia mtoto, decide after 2 years tunaweza adopt. Tuachane nayo. And imagine the minute I said it, hata kwa akili yangu, kwa mwili yangu, hiyo story ya kutafuta mtoto pia ilitoka. Yeah, and I relaxed.
the patience. Where did it come from? How did you grow?
You know,
But this guy is strong. Me,
ilifika
I
tu
can be
mahali,
tough.
ilifika mahali nika give up. Nikaona, anyway, you don't want to go to church, don't go. You don't want to hear things about God, I won't tell you about God. You know, because pia ilikuwa inamuoffend, because sasa nikimwambia, God ata come through, you know, na anashinda, God ana come through mabeste wetu, but me I come through for me. So nikaacha hata stories za Mungu. But what I did is, there's a friend of ours also during that season, he had been married for about 8 years, na pia wako wamepata mtoto. So what I did, niliongea na beste yangu, nikamwambia if he can introduce the wife to her, so that why walk pamoja, at least should get someone who at least ame go through your season and understand. So this friend of ours walikuwa married 8 years, au ameenda mpaka kwa daktari na wameambiwa everything is okay, kila kitu is okay, but hawajawahi conceive, you know. So that's what we started. Wakaanza ku walk na that lady, and this guy I can introduce to, you know, you also need to go get tested. Maybe you're the one who has issues, you know. So introduce me to a doctor, and I booked an appointment with this doctor. Yeah, and I was ready to go get tested, you know, kusupport pia feel ni kama, you know, I mean this.
So even that was another dome. Aendangi test. So kila siku nenda hii month. Haendi, hiyo inakuwa dome ingine.
Wow. So you talked about two things, your best couple and introducing her to a friend, and also you also considering that it might be me. So we are going for a short break. When we come back, we talk about the importance of a support system. We are at 4 Points by Sheraton, and this is my testimony show. Thank you so much for staying with us, and welcome back to my testimony. We are at 4 Points by Sheraton, and I am joined by Ciku and DJ Soxxy. So, support system. What's the importance of having that close support system, that someone that you can talk to, someone you can
trust? It's very, very important, because I think even just looking at our marriage, not just trying for a child, even just looking at our full marriage, we've had people all through the way that they've held us, we've entrusted them with our story, and wametushikilia paka tukatoka season tukenda season nyingine. So it's very important to have, especially people who nikikwambia kitu sitaisikia kesho kwa blogs ama sijui nani wanaifuatilia, because our story actually kept intact throughout the season. Yeah.
I think it's also important because there are people who, no man is an island. You know, you need people to encourage, you need people to learn from, and so it's important to have people who can hold you down, hold you up when you're down, and also encourage you during those tough times. And at times, maybe even people who've gone through what you're going through, who will be able to show you that. You see, at that point when you're going through that season, you think it's the end of the world. But kuna mtu hapo anaangalia anasema, yani, hiyo kitu kidogo tu hiyo. So it's always nice when you hear that, because you see like, I'll also come through this. If someone else came through this, if God allowed someone to come through this, I can also come through it. So you need a good support system that will allow you to achieve that. Yeah, and not just in issues marriage, in life. In life, you always need someone who you can work with. I always say, in life you need 3 people. You need someone who you look up to, you need your peer, and you also need someone that you pull up.
And how important is it for the men to also accept that it could also be?
It's important. It's not easy. It's always, you see, for men, we've always assumed that the childbearing is a role of your wife. And so anything else that comes with that, from contraception to, you know, the delivery process itself, the conceiving. So, ni kama sisi ujitoa. And there are situations where it's actually the man who has the issue or has a condition, you know. And so it will be very unfortunate when you see your wife struggling with this situation, but ni wewe uko na shida na hutaki kwenda kutestiwa. To us, you look at it like it makes you feel less of a man, or men around you will view you less than a man when you go to get tested. Maybe you are assuming that when do unafire blanks. Unajua wanaume tunaongeanga mambo mingi, but one of the things that men do not do is they do not speak out about the issues that they are going through. So utapata there are many men who have gone through that test, but hawasemangi. Kwa meza, kwa kikao ya wanaume hatuwezi sema. Tunaongeanga about every other thing other than the issues that we are going through. And so for men, we need also to have real conversations. I don't think we have real conversations that we can open up to men and get support from the men friends. And so for me, I decided, you know what, maybe ni mimi naweza kuwa na issue. So how about niende nitestiwe? Let me go get tested. It will not take away my manhood, quote unquote. I'll still be a man. I'll still be her husband. God still loves me the way I am. Whether I will be the one with the issue or not, bado mimi niko. I didn't get to go for the test, but yeah, I was. What tunasemanga, it is the thought that counts. It is the thought that counts. Yeah.
So the society has painted a man in a light that is not same to the woman.
Ukipata watoto wajinga wanaanguka shule ni mtoto wa mama. Akipita ni mtoto wa baba. I think it's just how it is. And I think we need to change how we view things. We live in a patriarchal society, and so the man roles, men are defined and roles the women are defined. And things have changed, things have evolved over time. A woman's place was in the house and childbearing and taking care of the children, and a man's place was going out there looking for money, providing. But you see, nowadays there are women who are making more money than their husbands. So how do you balance that? Where actually it's the lady who is making more money, so her place is not in the house. Things have changed, and we also need to change. As men, we need to change our mindsets. Yes, we grew up seeing our dads do certain things, but it has figured a place where we need to change. For example, when we got our firstborn child, I remember just before we were discharged in hospital, kuna nasa akakuja akatuambia, men, you are at a place where you need to catch up. Meaning that the wife has bonded, or your wife has bonded with the child for 9 months in the stomach. Sindio? So now mtoto amezaliwa. You need to catch up. For you to bond with this child, you need to catch up. For example, you need to do things that are not manly, quote unquote. For example, change diaper. Akani explain ya vile when you're changing the diaper, mtoto anakuangalia. There's eye contact. Ukimchange hivi, ukimuinua hivi, diaper ikikunukia, lakini there's eye contact na mtoto. Ukiwash mtoi, ukimuosha kama yuko mdogo, there's also eye contact. Once in a while in the house, just undress the child, warm the room, toa top, lalisha mtoto kwa chest yako, do such things to bond with their children. Society nowadays, if you ask majority of the people, they do not have good relationships with their dads because their dads were out there looking for money, which is good. But ukiulizwa, you'd rather your dad was home and bonding with you than ndio ni poa anatafuta pesa. It is good, it is noble, but beyond the money, people want to connect with their fathers. People want to connect with their mothers. But sadly now, because the mother ndio ako home na mtoto, you get that we grew up bonding with our moms more than our dads. We do not have relationships with our dads. And we also need to change such things, where we are intentionally, as men, taking time to bond with our children. And it starts as early as when the child is not even born, even when just the child has been conceived. We need to start intentionally getting ways to bond with our children. And now such things are not what we grew up seeing our parents do, but as this generation, and knowing that we want to change things for the future of our children and our children's children, we need to do things differently. Yeah, and so for men, those are things that we need to intentionally do so that we are able to bond with our children. Yes, look for money, but also spend time with our children.
Ciku, the vulnerability of men is still quite an unpopular thing in the society today. How important was it for you having a supportive husband?
So important. Especially now I saw his role clearly as a father when I got our firstborn. First I got our firstborn CS. When you get CS, you can't just pop out of bed and uchukue mtoto. So he would pick the child, change the diaper, then give me the child to breastfeed.
Sema hivyo tena na loudly, louder.
Nikisha maliza ku breastfeed, I give the baby back to him, alafu anambapisha na namrudisha analala. So that season, especially the first, is it 2-3 weeks? I think hata nilipona faster.
Like it was about 2-3 months. Umezi reduce 2-3 months.
Nasema now the first time when now the baby came home, I think hata nilipona haraka because of that help that he was giving me. So I felt if more men were doing that, even the bond with in your marriage, because now also now you love him more, you're seeing, hey, tuko pamoja, unanisaidia. It brought us together more, working together during that time. Yeah.
So the team started.
But you see, it's interesting that mi singeambia my dad zile vitu nafanyishwa
nyumbani. By the way, hata tukienda home, hata alikuwa akiniambia usiambie mbuyu miu change diaper, usiambie mbuyu miu
wacha nikwambie, na hata my parents wakikuja kuvisit home, mtoi akipupu, ordinarily ni mimi na chenchingi, but please chukua mtoto enda change.
Because you know, and then you know the older men will feel, mama ameketia bwana ya.
You know my dad ataenda akisema, my kijana wangu amekaliwa. Guy, ana change mpaka diaper.
Bringing ya wazazi your generation. I'm not in that generation. So
when it's simi na tuko generation moja wewe. We are in the same generation. We are millennials.
Has that upbringing affected or dictated how families are growing right now?
I think so.
Our generation.
Yeah. We know marriage from what we saw our parents do. You know, we know parenting from what we saw our parents do. And that's why I'm saying we need to be very intentional. If things did not work, if we feel there are things that did not work in their marriage, as much as this is what we grew up seeing, we need to be bold enough to say we need to change that. Because that's all we know. That because we tuliona, alafu sasa shida ni, these are two different people.
Two different homes.
Upbringing was different. The homes zetu zilikuwa very different. So we are coming together to start a home while the scripts are very different. So we need to draw up our own script. Tuseme, okay, your script yenyu, cancel everything. Your script here, cancel. Because now this is our home. Let's now draw up a new script. Let's write a new script where this is what we will follow. Let's ignore everything else we've heard or seen or know. And for our children, this is a template that we will use as parents. Yeah.
Was there a day when your parents were like, mtoto anakuja lini?
No. Actually,
Sema ukweli
the beauty, imagine kitu interesting ni, our parents have never, to be honest, my mom never asked, my dad never asked, mtoto sijui nini, they never asked. Yeah. I think for them too, ilikuwa, maybe we do not really, maybe walijiuliza, but they never vocalized it, which was good for us because we didn't feel that pressure from our parents. Yeah.
Because even his mother told me one day, kama mungesema hata singeuliza nini ilikuwa inaendelea.
We never told them actually. Hatukuambia kile tulikuwa tunapitia. Si tuliendelea tu na maisha yetu tu. Ni kama things were okay.
We've had a lot of stories where the in-laws are like, tunataka mtoto. What would you tell such families?
I can imagine, as Soxxy said when we were starting, children come from God. It's not imagine hata ukiangalia the whole process ya hata pregnancy and delivery, there's no human intervention there. If anything happens to that baby in the stomach, even the doctor will tell you, hapo tutangoja tu paka saa zile utazaa tuone. God is the creator and the one who puts that seed there. It's not our doing. It's not what I eat. It's not how I sleep. It's not what I do that determines whether I'll get pregnant or not. Ni Mungu.
Yeah. So we go for a short break and we come back. When we come back, we get to the testimony. This is my testimony show. We are at 4 Points by Sheraton. Don't move.